Okay, the next indicator that is unique to the diagnostic bars is the sizer. This is an optional indicator. Please understand we actually do have sizes already pre-built, pre-tested on the Apex website. Under the Elite menu, you'll see bar settings and sizes. However, if you want to play with experimental sizes, if you want to try different things out, maybe longer time frames, different things like that, bigger bars that will take longer to complete, you can actually use the diagnostic sizer. And this actually looks at the deviation level and does a multiple of it. And so what it basically is telling you is based on this, and it actually shows you the actual deviation too. It tells you like one deviation is this much, like $1.26. So that's another nice advantage. Now we have that number on the site where you can measure it manually, but this will actually tell you what the diagnostic deviation is. And it uses a divisible of that, a formula we came up with to develop several different bar sizes. And basically it's saying try 5, 10, and 21 as ideal sizes on this market based on how far it moves in a given day. Whereas if I go over and I flip to another market, say I go to like say something like dollar CAD, okay? And notice it gives me a lot different. It gives me a 4 and a 9. It doesn't even have a small because it can't really. It doesn't want to go. You don't ever want a diagnostic bar to be smaller than 4, and so it gives me a 4 and a 9 on the setting right there as the two different sizes to check. A lot of times I'll just go with 6. So on most bars because I found it works very well. But this will actually recalculate a size for you every day. So which is pretty cool. Because it's based on deviation levels every single day. Just the challenges, obviously, if your bars are changing every day, that makes it really hard to back test results if you're constantly changing the size of your bar. All right, so that right there is the wrap up of the 4 diagnostic bar indicators. The one thing I will add before I go into, I'm not going to do the apex pattern in detail on this video, but I want to go over here on the apex pattern, okay? If you're going to use a bar size smaller, okay, than 6, then you got to change the entry offset setting to 1. Otherwise, it'll never trigger an E because there won't be enough movement. Or a lot of times it won't trigger an E. So, because like if it's a 3-tick bar or 4-tick bar, it may not ever actually break 2 ticks above the high of the previous bar. Because, remember, it started 2 ticks in between. So make sure, just as a rule, whether or not you understand it, if you're using diagnostic bars with the apex pattern and you're using less than 6 ticks, the entry offset needs to be 1. When you go back to 6 ticks or greater, you can still use 1 if you wanted to. But we usually use 2 or greater on 6 ticks, or basically use 2 or greater on 6 ticks or more. But you have to use 1 on less than 6 ticks to make it work accurately.